understand. Because all of us, we always like high things, big things, you know. So, and then the last word there was need. That is something that we don't like, right? We don't want to be in need. We always want to be satisfied. Okay? But there is a very important word, and that's the first word, revival. I checked the dictionary. It says, an improvement in the condition or strength of something. Example, an economic revival. Okay? This is a definition of the word world. Okay? I'm not saying this is our definition. This is the first thing that you will encounter in the dictionary. That means it's an improvement in the condition or strength of something. Let's check another one. It says, an instance of something becoming popular, active, or important again. There is a very important word there. Again. Okay? Why is that thing important? You know, there is one thing that I love to do. Break down a word. You know? Did you know that revival actually has these synonyms? Resurrection, renaissance, and rebirth. You see, it's so good to study English. Aside from learning English, we learn French, and we learn Latin, we learn a lot of things. See here, this word renaissance is actually French. Okay? So these are some of the synonyms of revival. Resurrection, renaissance, and rebirth. Okay? We'll go into those words. We'll try to see why they are synonyms. But did you know that revival actually came from two words? French? If Eduardo were here, he would love that. Okay? And then, it also came from a Latin word which is revivere. Okay, see? Now the pronunciation is different. You have to pronounce every letter. Revivere. Okay? While the first one is revivere. Okay? I love to be a language teacher. Anyway, so the word revival came from these two words. Okay? And let's try to decompose it. Let's try to divide it. Okay? The first one, re. It means it's a prefix which indicates what? To a previous condition, which means to go back. Restoration, repetition, that's why it's again. Okay? Again. But you see, it's a kind of repetition which is not the same thing as what happened before. Okay? How many of you had the chance to study a little bit of philosophy in college?
We have no philosophy.
Okay. There is a term that they use in philosophy which is dialectic. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Dialectic actually, it's a process that you go back to the same place, the same situation, but it's not the same position.
Yes.
Okay? It's just like history. History, we say history repeats itself, but we actually don't repeat the same thing. We repeat it, it's similar, but in another point in time. So it's the same thing. Re means that's a repetition, but in a different place, in a different situation. But it happens again. Okay? That's just the first syllable. Now let's go into the second syllable. Okay, second syllable, vivre. That's the French one. Or vivere. Okay? That's Latin. That means life. So if you put the two together, therefore, revival means coming back to life. Or return to original life. Wow! Did you know that? Right? It's so wonderful to study words, to break them down. Okay? So this is just an introduction of exactly what the lesson is all about this week. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to divide the group into several little groups. Okay? Yes?
Well, before you move,
Yes,
let me ask you something.
Sure.
By the definition, you're talking about revival, it looks like a reformation.
No. Revival and Reformation are two different things. Later on, I'll show you exactly. Because Ellen White actually explained that very clearly. And I will close the lesson today with that. Okay? Because basically the lesson today, this week, it doesn't even talk about Reformation yet. It just is an introduction of what is revival. Okay? But we're going to touch on that a little bit later on. Okay?
This is interesting. I want you to explain later when we go to the points.
Okay.
Because I haven't heard think before about the difference between revival and Reformation. I think they are linked in some ways.
They have to happen at the same time, but they are two different things. Okay? They have to happen at the same time, but they are two different things. Okay, so what are we going to do? I showed the people from Tatuapé last night, okay, the SG, okay, how I divide groups. Okay, so we're going to divide counting 1 to 7. When you get to 7, you repeat again. 1, 2, okay? Okay? So that's an even way of dividing. So we'll start with my, did everybody know my mom?